dear students. Today we are going to take up a very important topic, which is ethics in accounting. What do we mean by ethics? Ethics is basically a system whereby we have some amount of moral values with ourselves. Based on our moral values, we act upon the things as and how we perceive. In the same way, ethics in accounting means how we make moral choices in regards to the preparation, presentation, and the disclosure of financial information, which means the pattern in which we are recording accounting information through ledgers, journals, or any other format as may be required at a particular time. What is the need of ethics? We need ethics in accounting so that there are no misappropriation of assets. A very simple example over here would be an employee very easily takes away few of the office stationery for his personal use. So this is misappropriation of assets. Disclosure violations. I am not following the way in which I am required to disclose the accounting entries in the financial statements. I am intentionally hiding away something so that the disclosure is not appropriate. Also, we need accounting ethics so that we are not attracting any penalties for violation. In case of any violation, the nodal agencies levy upon heavy amount of penalties. So to avoid that also we require ethics. And at the same time, to avoid long-term negative consequences, we need to have ethics so that the outcome that we have is in the best possible manner. Over here, the major role that is played is by the accountant. Now this accountant over here, I mean both the accountants, the person who is already in the organization recording the transactions, as well as the professional auditor who is outside and doing the auditing job. Now the qualities that the accountants require is ethical sensibility, which means they need to be morally aware of the responsibilities relating to recording of accounts. That means they should be very well versed with how recording takes place, what are the golden principles of accounting. In case of any change in the rules, they are updated of it. The technical proficiency requires their accounting competence. Both of them are slightly overlapping, but as and how we progress through our regular offline lectures, we will find it that we are finding that technical proficiency is absolutely their knowledge relating to the accounting work. According to this, I have taken this image from Academia. The accounting sensibility and the technical proficiency of the accountants gives rise to 4 categories of accountants. The first category is the destructive accountant. He is a person who lacks both the technical proficiency as well as the ethical sensibility. As a result of this fellow lacking both of them, it is a highly disastrous situation for the organization. The second thing over here is the good-hearted accountant. This person is ethically sensible, but he lacks the technical proficiency. He doesn't know how recording takes place, but he is overall, his nature or intent is not to deceive anybody. The third one is the virtuous accountant. Now this person is something which all organizations should seek for, because this kind of an accountant is ethically sensible as well as technically proficient enough in his job. The fourth and the last category is the opportunist. Now the opportunist accountant is a person who is technically very proficient, but ethically he is insensitive. So at the drop of a hat, if he finds any opportunity, he will grab it and use it to its fullest use, irrespective of the concerns of the organization. Whether it is fruitful for the organization, it affects the organization, he is not bothered. As a result of the 4 types of accountants, there are various threats which an organization faces. The first threat, as you can see at the top of the pyramid, is the self-interest threat. this is a threat which is faced by the accountant because he is biased and he advances his self-interest in the form of having new clients, expanding his business, getting additional business from the same client and so on. So, in case of self-interest, he wants to promote himself more than the organization for which he is working. The second type of threat is the self-review threat. Under this situation, the accountant's decisions are based on the previous judgments, performances, experiences that he made. It is not based on the current situation. The third threat is the advocacy threat. In case of advocacy threat, the accountant promotes a particular client or an employer. So, he is not exercising his due diligence over here. Fourth threat is the familiarity threat. In case an accountant has a very long or a close relationship with the client or with an employer, then this familiarity affects the objectivity by which he is working. As a result, a new set of challenges faced by the organization. The last type of threat is the intimidation threat. In this, attempts are made by either the employers or the clients to exercise undue influence upon the accountant through time and social pressures. So, as a result of all of these threats, the recording or the presentation of the financial information is not up to the mark or to the extent required. As a result of all of this, the code of ethics for the accountants has been framed using the 5 following fundamental principles. The first principle over here is integrity. An accountant needs to be straightforward and honest. He should be true to the values of his profession and should not get carried away by any undue influence or any of the threats which we have just now studied. Second is objectivity. He should not allow any bias to creep into his decision or allow any conflict of interest to creep into. Third is professional competence. An accountant should have the requisite knowledge to perform his work and should always or regularly go in for skill upgradation. Next is confidentiality. The accountant is required not to disclose any information that he derives from his clients or employer's business unless there is any legal or professional duty or right as a result of which he is required to disclose the same. Last of all is the professional behavior. The accountant must comply with the relevant laws and the regulations which exist in the company as well as in the country. Thus, as you have studied, we find ethical knowledge of paramount importance in accounting education. Please refer to your textbooks for further study. Thank you.